All right, man. Torture Talk. I don't know how this one got past me. I thought I did an episode about this. Maybe I'm losing my mind. Anyway, Joe Buttons speaks on Drake should do an album sort of like Mr. Morale or 444. And I'm going to explain. I've been saying this, and a lot of y'all know this already, but we're going to get into it. All right, man, Torture Talk, you know what it is, man. Thank y'all for joining me. Appreciate y'all. If you want to leave a donation, links on the screen, Cash App, all that good stuff. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, thank y'all for being here with me. All the fellas, y'all know where to find the ones at. You know what I'm saying? If they put the ones in there, you know what it is. So look, man, I'm the King of the North. Let me know what kingdom you from. Go subscribe to Torture Talk After Hours too. 25,000 subscribers. I'll be giving away a nice size cash prize. And yes, I am the King of the North. Let me know what kingdom you are from. And listen, I'm doing an award ceremony on January 1st. It's going to be on live, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be announcing all the winners. Throughout the weeks to come, I will be dropping the nominees of each category. I'm not doing a voting system. I'm going to do it myself, because if I do a voting system, people are going to have 1,000 people vote for them, and some people don't have that type of luxury to have all these people voting for them. I just don't. And if you have people that just watch you but don't watch everybody, no. I watch everybody. I'm going to give my assessment and why I believe whoever wins, wins. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you tap in for that. That's going to be pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I need to do this because a lot of us don't get the recognition that we should get. So yeah, I don't know how this episode got past me. Joe Button speaks on this. I think I did an episode to this. I am not sure. So please roast me in the comments. Come for me in the comments if I did do an episode, and just say I was double dipping or something. I don't know. Roast me in the comments. Do something. You know what I mean? But let's get it, man. Let's get to it. All right, man. So look, man, Joe Buttons and them speaks on whether Iceman should be Drake's 444. Or Mr. Morale. And let's get it.
Let's get it.
YN says, after y'all's convo with DJ Head, I'm wondering, would y'all be interested in Drake's version of 444 or Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers? At this point, I'm not sure that the stick to the slaps model is enough. There seems to be a reckoning of some sort that needs to happen. In a dream world, who would Drake call for his 444 moment? What producers or features should he tap the shoulder of? What subjects should he address versus stay away from? I'd love to hear y'all use this as a Fix This Business segment like y'all did for Ty. Well,
that's dope.
There was a reason why.
That was the one thing about Joe Buttons that I like a lot. He's a very good reader when it comes to someone's questions and stuff like that. He has a very like you can tell that he reads books out loud. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, boy, I hated reading out loud. I ain't gonna lie. Yo, my teacher used to be like, Maurice? I used to be like, Yo, I hated it. I got so nervous. The one thing I will say about school is when your teacher made you read out loud in front of the class, you got to understand as a child, that's traumatizing because, and I don't know why teachers did this, and I'm being honest. I don't know why teachers made us read out loud in class. I guess it is to see if you can actually read and then they help you, but kids laugh. Kids laugh and they don't want to be laughed at, especially if they're not as good as this guy next to me. You know what I'm saying? Who reads 100 times better than me and he's fluent with it. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you feel some type of way when they laughing and they snarkling. So you get real nervous. And then there'll always be the teachers always call on as like a punishment. They'll call on you. If you being bad in class, they'll be like, I'll get you. I'll make you read. Make him read in front of the class. And then you like, damn, like, I gotta be good. Like, you better be good. So I'm gonna make you read out loud. And you be like, oh man, I don't wanna read out loud, no. Please, I'm gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that When you're a child, that's what happens. But I don't know why I just went on that tangent. I just felt like I had to just say that. That was pretty funny.
Did it for Ty. And we look really foolish doing that for the $1 billion boy.
Right.
So I won't do a fix this business on him.
For business. But
Yeah, but I mean, we could give some suggestions.
I think that's a dope question.
It is a dope question. I think it's a great.
I would 100% be.
Nah, cut it out, Joe. Y'all gotta stop this madness, bro. So y'all do all of this criticizing all of these people throughout all of the years, and you've been criticizing Drake, and now you're saying he's the $1 billion boy. You don't want to give him no advice on how to rap. Like, cut it out, bro. Cut it out. You did a whole episode talking about how much Drake was uninspired and he need to get away from these young girls. And da. Now you are here saying this. Cut it out.
Interested in Drake's version of 444.
Me too.
If he got with 40 and Boy Wonder.
That's it.
I throw a Vinyls beat on there, but those
Of course,
are the three.
yeah.
But
But Vinyls could be in there. Yeah.
Boy Wonder's their Vinyl should be. And that's it. But
Yeah.
444 was Hove going to therapy, coming out and letting us know about the findings and the conversations and how him and his wife worked through some shit. He was very transparent,
Introspective,
in ways that we weren't used to hearing. And if Drake found a way to do that, I think the world is interested.
Yeah.
I think the world is much more interested than the kitty slaps.
Yes. Agreed.
That's just my opinion.
I've been saying this, but the thing is, that's wishful thinking, because I honestly don't think Drake knows how to be. I don't think he goes to therapy because he don't know how to get in touch with his feelings. I think Drake is one of those type of people who they don't ever want to look like they're weak in front of anybody. They don't want to look like they're weak in front of anybody. And I tell you, like, they don't want to look like they're weak. So him saying or doing, how would I say this? Him doing an album about his emotions and feelings, it makes him look weak. Now, I want to hear that. I want to hear how he felt about Not Like Us. I want to hear how he felt about, and truth be told, that's a winning formula for him. But once he does that, he can't go back. It's over. Once you submit to that type of emotions and feelings and you let it all out there, now when you go back and try to make slaps and music, it's just going to feel hollow. Nobody's going to care. So you got to keep coasting that way in his head. Because once he starts talking about how he really felt, and if he's honest about it, say, look, Kendrick got me and I really was upset about this. But every time you hear a Drake song, he's dissing everybody else for betraying him, but he's not explaining or talking about how he actually feels. He's just saying, I don't like you. And I just don't like that. But he's not saying, look, that really crushed me. It hurt me deep to my core. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to tell you, like, he ain't breaking down how he felt. He's just basically saying, y'all was betrayed. Y'all betrayed me. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
I think that would be dope, actually.
Me too.
You know how comedians do some bullshit and then they got to come back at their next stand-up?
With the serious stand-up?
And do the whole transparency so we could get past it shit. I think that would be fire.
You just have to have the moment that makes the 444 possible, right? You have to live a certain thing. And if Drake's had that moment, I don't know Drake's life. If he's had that moment. Bro,
the moment is here still. He had the moment. That moment was last year after the battle. What do you mean? He got to have that moment. What are you talking about? I guess he's looking at it from the point of view. Mark's looking at it from the point of view as a political stance, saying he hasn't had that moment or whatever. But the crazy thing is, and I noticed that a lot of y'all say this. You know what? I'm not even gonna say that. That doesn't even matter about the conversation. But I'm just gonna say I think that a lot of times we put these artists in certain positions and they're already there. We say that they need to be there, but they're already there. He's already there. Like, he's already there. Look how he's reacting still.
That I'm ready for it. I don't know. That was a mistake. Like when I think of I'm even like other genres like Marvin Gaye. Like I mean everybody thinks about what's going on, but for me, Here My Dear is a moment of like transparency and honesty and vulnerability. But he had to go through that shit with his wife, right? So whatever Drake goes through and gets clarity on, once he does that and he's rapping, I think it's gonna be maybe his best work. I can't wait to hear that from Drake.
See, but some people would say that the year that was the battle should have been the event that caused.
It could have. We don't know.
But the thing is too, and I understand exactly what Joe and them is saying, but here's the thing that a lot of people are not paying attention to. If Drake has a writer or writers, they can't convey how he actually feels. They can say some stuff, but you got to understand, somebody can rap, somebody can write a rap for you, but they can't write your emotions for you. And even if they're saying certain things, it's always going to be a little off, or it's going to be off. This is like AI, right? AI doesn't feel real. It looks real, but it doesn't feel real. You know what I mean? Like, I seen a bunch of videos where people stealing packages and they blowing up. You know what I'm saying? And then I noticed that it's so many glitches. Not to say that AI ain't going to get better, but you can tell that it's not a real person. That's how it is when it comes down to it. If Drake has people writing his stuff for him, his material about his emotions, you're going to know that you're not connected, because that person don't really know how you really feel. They don't. That's why The Heart Part 6 didn't land, because he was saying things in that people was just like, he got stuff wrong. How you get stuff wrong in your own battle? That doesn't make sense. You didn't write the rap, so you got something wrong in your own battle. I don't think that Drake is equipped enough to really explain how he actually feels. And if he does, he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to do it. And I'll be honest, if Drake does it, even if he ain't as good lyrically as his writers, it still probably would be good. He has to do it, though. You can't have somebody write your emotions for you. It don't work that way. You could try it, but it's just not going to work.
Could be. That's true.
I'm sure, bro, he sat in some rooms by himself and got his self-reflection bag on. I'm sure. How did I end up here? What did I do to get here? All of the things about him and other niggas' girls, all of the things about him being a certain type of person. I'm sure he has had to sit with all of that in some way, shape, or form.
I think he's tried to do that, like in music. Like, even though What Did I Miss? Shit, like, I mean, he's still chasing the slap, because he's programmed to think I gotta have a slap, but I'm still like, oh shit, the people that I was down with turned their backs on me and all of it. Like, I'm still, that's some introspection right there. That's me trying to figure out what's going on.
Real introspection.
In real time.
I agree with that, but I think
I said some. I'm not saying he didn't dig deep.
I agree with you. No, he could have dug deep and just not put it on wax. But I think that accountability is where your introspection really starts.
That's what I'm saying.
If you can find yourself.
Yeah, that's. I agree. I think that Drake doesn't know how to be accountable for the things he did. I think his biggest flaw is him not being honest with himself. This whole thing with UMG should have never happened. But I think that he felt as though he was going to discredit, even though he didn't beat Kendrick, he felt as though that Kendrick win was manufactured. And the reason why he felt like that is because that's what he been doing. He's been doing that all his career. So he said, well, if I've been doing it, I know they're doing it for him. And now I'm going to put them on the spot because I know they're not going to tell. I know they're not going to say it. But UMG said, no, we use the same tactics that we use for him. We did for everybody. We did for Kendrick or whatever. So you got to understand. But he would have been all right because Drake, I'll put it to you like this. I'll put it to y'all like this. People are used to Drake losing. It's not a big deal. He would have been all right because they already know that in some people's head, Drake is not, he's not a battle rapper. He's not hip hop. He's just Drake. He's not, he would never be better than Kendrick. Some people say Drake will never be better than Kendrick when it comes to artistry and music. He would never be. He could be bigger as an artist, you know, but he would never be better than Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's the case. And I'm actually working on an episode where I talk about I talk about us being deceived on Drake, actually about Drake, when it comes to him being as big as he is. I think it's all smoke and mirrors with him, but that's another story. I'm just saying, I definitely think that he doesn't really know how to explain his emotions.
Account, because all the other shit he just shooting at these niggas.
Right.
Yo, I was your man. I looked out for you. You piece of shit. You turned your back on me. Like at some point he has to, if he has not already, gotten into the me looking in the mirror shit.
Yep. Man, that's what made 444 so great. Is he talked about his shit.
But look, you see how this is what I mean. Like, people so used to Drake losing that they cover up for him and don't even realize it. You see what he just said? He literally just said that Drake needs to take accountability, and then in the same breath, he talking about how niggas did him dirty, and he need to speak about that. Yeah, like, we already know he did that. We know he talking about that. Drake hasn't taken accountability for anything so far. I never in my life, maybe I'm wrong, but I never seen Drake apologize about anything. Somebody must have told him that. Never apologize. I never seen him apologize. Never seen him get on here and look. I never seen him get on here and look weak. You know what I'm saying? He looks pathetic, but I never seen him look weak. Drake is one of those type of people who will stand on the top of a mountain of bullshit with pride. He doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? He'll just stand on top of a mountain of bullshit. Like, the whole mountain is full of bullshit. Like, for real, that's what he would do. So you got to understand, he would never fold. He would never say, I'm sorry, I did this, and then he would never do that, because that makes him look weak. He was, in his head, he could never do that. You know what I'm saying? This is why I say it would be difficult for him to do an album like that. Although we want to hear it, though.
He went wrong.
Well, you got to
Mark,
accountability.
You're in a room with people that don't feel like 444 was that great.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that on my moon landing list.
All right, so the people are saying.
I want to talk about that real quick. Do I believe 444 is a classic? I believe 444 is a good album. If I had to give it a score, I would probably give it a 9. I would give it a 9. It's one of Jay-Z's. It's not, to me, Jay-Z has a lot of good albums. Is it one of his best albums? No. Is it a good album? Yes. You know what I'm saying? It's a good album, yes. But Jay got so much good material. He also got a lot of trash too. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? But 444 was a mature album. It was a mature, even though Jay been making mature albums. But yeah. So let's see what Never Gotta Say, and then we're gonna get out of here.
And this was an underwhelming episode of the JBP. They didn't care about the Max B topic. They didn't care about the Stephen A topic, which, to be honest with y'all, Joe and the podcast members, they were uninformed about that Stephen A versus Michelle Beadle topic. I just want to say that. And they didn't care about anything else but the Melissa Ford and the Charlemagne the God podcast that Joe and the other podcast members did not address. It wasn't even a joke from Mark Lamont Hill.
All right, so I want to talk about that, and then I'm going to get out of here. I get my ass back in the gym tonight. I've been playing around. Yeah, so look. Do I think Joe Buttons and them should address Melissa Ford? I think that Melissa is in her feelings right now. I definitely think that for her to say that these guys were misogynist, that's crazy. Like I think that I think that, and this is no disrespect to women, but I think a lot of women, some women, not all, but some women, and I have to stress that because, you know, some people act immature when men talk about women, y'all act immature. It's not an attack on you. It's basically me saying some women, just like y'all say some men, but a lot of y'all say all men. You know what I'm saying? But some women have this thing with them where they feel like if they get criticized, then men look at them. They look at these men as being narcissistic or being misogynist. because they correct you. Oh, you mansplaining. It's a bunch of stuff like that. Where even some people even get to the point where you blur the lines, and just because I might agree with certain people of the red pill community doesn't mean that I'm a red pill. There's a lot of things that I would disagree with, but people latch on to one thing that you say and they run with it. Like, oh man, I seen one person said to me, bro, we ain't come here for that. What you mean you ain't come here for that? What does that mean? What do you mean you didn't come here for that? You came here for my commentary, my opinion. What do you mean? How you gonna tell me how I should talk? Get your own show and you talk. You know what I'm saying? That's what I had to say to him. But a lot of people feel like that. If you say anything that they disrespect, they feel like you, not even disrespecting them, but they feel like you have to talk the way you want them to talk. And I think that I thought that Melissa Ford was actually pretty good on the show. But it's a typical move of certain women of certain status who does things like this because they know that that's a hot button and it's a hot thing to say. It's a trigger word for people to pay attention to what you got to say. If you say that the last show you was on where it was filled with misogynist and narcissistic men, or just misogynistic men, or whatever you want to call it, you say to yourself, well, do these men actually hate women? Because that's what that means. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all don't understand that. That's exactly what that means. I don't think Joe and the rest of those guys hate women. But again, people want to dance around the topic. So I think that that's what that is now. But that had nothing to do with it. I just wanted to just explain that because I like to talk. But as far as Drake, do I believe that Drake should do an introspective 444 Mr. Morale? Because the question was Mr. Morale, but I see that they totally skipped that part because they know that Drake could never make an album like that. You know what I'm saying? They know he could never make an album like Mr. Morale. Maybe he doesn't have well, everybody has a story. Let's just say this. I think if Drake kept it real about how he grew up and what he been through, and even with him being a mixed kid, and he talk about those things, because he said something about that in the interview, but he never really said it about it in the song, but he said something about it in the interview. He said it. And he also said in the interview that he don't like the fact that he's black and they don't never want to say that he's like, I believe he said that people don't want to say that he's like the best black new artist or something like that. And I could tell he's kind of hurt about that because you can't help it if you mix. There's nothing you can't do about that. It is what it is. But he should talk about his Jewish side. He should talk about these things. I think that would bring him closer to his fans, and he would gain a lot of respect from people. Problem is, Drake wants to be, he just wants to be, what's the word I'm looking for? He wants to be so elusive, and he's really not. He's like that guy that thinks he's getting away with a crime, and they watching him the whole time on camera, and he's like, oh yeah, watch this. Like the guy who steals in the supermarket, putting stuff in his pants, and they looking at him like, look at this dude. He walking with his pants like this. He got his pants like this, walking like this, meat in his pants, with meat all in his pants. Oh, I should, instead of saying meat, because everybody got meat in their pants, right? Walking with fruit in his pants. It's a fruit cup. But still in all, man, I definitely think that if he was to sit down, and it's very difficult to write out your emotions and feelings. And I think that I don't see him actually doing that, but I want him to do it, but I just don't see it happening. So, all right, man. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye.